Welcome in, Magic Learners. Much love. Taking a look at one of my favorite cards from Oath of the Gatewatch. Goblin, Dark Dwellers, a 5-drop, 3 and a red for a sturdy 4/4 body with menace. Cannot be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. When Goblin Dark Dwellers enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. And then you exile the card. So really interesting card. We can imagine for 5 mana 4/4 dropping it, playing a removal spell, playing a draw spell, playing a life gain spell, playing a ramp spell, whatever. Really flexible card. A decent body. 5 mana is a lot, but it's not so much that we can't have big hopes and aspirations for this thing. Now, when I look at this card, a few iconic, historically powerful cards come to mind, and I think it will be useful to compare and contrast to these cards. Now, Goblin Dark Dwellers does not need to be as good as Bloodbraid Elf or Snapcaster Mage, but those are the cards that come to mind, and if Goblin Dark Dwellers is even half as good, then this card has some serious potential. So, first of all, Bloodbraid Elf. Bloodbraid Elf is banned in Modern. This card is crazy in Standard. 4-drop for a 3/2 haste, and when it comes into play, you cascade off the top of your deck and cast something that costs 3 or less for free. So Bloodbraid Elf has multiple colors, making it slightly harder to cast, except it's cheaper as a 4-drop. It's smaller, but it has haste instead of menace, which is maybe better, but probably better. There's pros and cons. However, Bloodbraid Elf tends to be a bit random in terms of what you can cast. Goblin Dark Dwellers will often have more selection in casting something from your graveyard. But when we think about these cards in a Jund deck, either of them can be pretty strong, casting a Blightning, casting a Kolaghan's Command, a Maelstrom Pulse, a Lightning Bolt. Either of them works well in a ramp deck, casting an Explorer or something like that. So what's interesting is if the opponent casts a Bloodbraid Elf, Goblin Dark Dwellers is a pretty decent answer as a 4/4 body to soak up the 3/2 Bloodbraid Elf body and a removal spell to finish off whatever else Bloodbraid Elf found. So pretty interesting matchup, interesting comparison. Goblin Dark Dwellers definitely has some disadvantages, but Bloodbraid Elf comes to mind. Now, another card that comes to mind is Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster Mage is insane. It hasn't been banned in Modern, but it's really crazy. It's amazing with Lightning Bolt, as we all know. Goblin Dark Dwellers also good with Lightning Bolt. Although, while it's much bigger, it's much less versatile. Snapcaster Mage is so flexible, it's only a 2-drop. Play it at instant speed. Goblin Dark Dwellers much less flexible. However, Goblin Dark Dwellers, you can play it without paying its mana cost. So you could cast a Living End or a Restore Balance, right? Goblin Dark Dwellers is an extremely tricky card. There's a lot of depth to it. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. There's a lot we can do with it that's really surprising and unusual. Ultimately, with Goblin Dark Dwellers, we're looking at a nice value creature, a good mid-range creature that has some combo potential. Again, it does not have to be as good as Snapcaster Mage or Bloodbraid Elf to be an awesome card. If it's half as good, it will be great. And I'm very excited to play with this card and build some new decks around it, see what we can do with it. So I already have some deck list ideas coming, so stay tuned from that. But I would love to hear what you think about this card, what you think the best way to use it is, what cards you want to cast with it from the graveyard, what types of decks you think it will go awesome in. So let me know below. Would love to hear what you think. Much love. Thank you, all of y'all. Thanks to our Patreon supporters, and I will see you in the comments.